can't believe that we are moving towards the end of summer already, but we have some exciting updates for you guys. So first, I want to just remind everybody, make sure you have a pen and paper or your notepad out or your notes on your phone so that you can take some notes today. Knowledge is not power, execution is power. So make sure that you write down 1 or 2 items that you're going to take away from today's program and bring it into your business to execute, because that's where the power will lie in your business. First, I want to give a shout out to all of the Lions of real estate. Today is World Lion Day. So we have some cool marketing that we're doing. We'll send out some emails later on, but we have some guerrilla marketing projects that we have going on today in some of our different marketplaces. So we'll keep you guys updated, but wanted to make sure you all knew that today is World Lion Day. Our social media team is making sure to make an update about that. So make sure you share it. So first, we want to say welcome to some of the new agents who have joined recently since our last meeting. Wanted to welcome Sam Hill, Ed Lee from Athol, and Amy Wally for our Plymouth office, Mila Reitz in our Wellington, Florida office, Lita Phillips in West Yarmouth, Blake Boyland is returning to our Chelmsford office. Welcome to all of the new Lions. Then let's dig into our stats for July 2022. So the market has completely shifted in almost every marketplace we do business in. Our total closings for the month of July were 271 closings and 136 million in sales volume. We'll go over in a few minutes where that puts us as compared to last year. In fact, our numbers are a little bit lower this month as compared to last year, but we're right on pace to what we should be doing in a normal real estate market. So here's our closings by area. So Massachusetts, we did 215 units at 115 million. Florida, 36 units at 13 million, New Hampshire, 20 units at 8 million. And these are sales. So we have not counted any of our rental business in these numbers. Let's take a look at our top Florida agents by sales volume for the month of July. Want to say congratulations to Team Batro, Jeff Browning, Christina B, Lindsay Scott, Janet Campbell, Robert McKeon, Roberto Ferreira, Tanya, and George. And then our top 10 by units. So once again, we have Lindsay, Roberto, Team Batro, Christina Bear, B. Hernandez, Janet Campbell, Brian Team, the Brian Team, Liz Stewart, Steve Wilson, and Jeff Browning. So congratulations to our top 10 agents for Florida. We want to also recognize our top New Hampshire agents. So we have the Ford Jean team. This is by volume, the Fulford Group, Pro Homes Group, and then Marie White. And then the stats shift a little bit when we sort by unit. So Ford Jean team is at the top, Pro Homes Group, Fulford Group, and then Marie White. Then we have our top 5 teams by volume for our Massachusetts offices. So by the way, I want to just remind, because I get this question every month on the Happy Agent, that when we do these stats, because we have many agents that are licensed in both Massachusetts and New Hampshire, that these are sorted. So those New Hampshire stats are just for agents that are located and working out of New Hampshire offices. These numbers are for agents that are located in and working out of Massachusetts offices. So first, we want to congratulate our top 5 teams by volume for the month of July. Dan O'Connell and Associates, The Results Group, Page and Company, Button and Company, and Janet Cram team out of Pepperell. Next, we have our top 5 teams by units sold. We have Dan O'Connell and Associates, The Results Group, Silver Key Homes, Janet Cram, and the North Star team out of Andover. Congratulations. Let's look at top 5 agents. So this is individual agents, not teams. Top 5 agents by units are Kristen Dodge out of Athol, Catherine Meisenheimer out of Wellesley, Leanne Trohan out of Peabody, Stephanie Fajardo out of Fairhaven, and Matt Winterly out of Duxbury. And then take a look at our top 5 agents by volume. We have Matt Winterly for Duxbury, Pamela Thompson, Falmouth, Catherine Meisenheimer, Wellesley, Debbie Malone, Chelmsford, and then Leanne Trohan for Danvers. Wanted to point out, we sent out an email this morning of our top 25 agents and associates company-wide. We put this list out every month and it goes on to the Career Den. You would have received an email notification this morning that our top agent lists were out. What we wanted to point out is that we made some images per your request. We had agents that have been asking, if I'm on the top 25 list, I still want to be able to post it to my social media or include it in, for example, a listing presentation. So beginning this month, in the one that went out today, you will see if you go to the bottom of that post within the LAER Career Den, you'll find these images. So top 25 by units and top 25 by volume, so that you can include those if you're on these lists and you want to include them in your listing or buyer presentations or in social media. You can get right to the attachment in that article we posted. At the bottom of the article, you'll see attachments. You can download this form in either a PDF or a JPEG image, so you can either post by social media or you can print out the PDF and include them in your presentations. So we'll continue to include these each month when we put out our top 25 lists. Let's take a look at year over year. One thing I wanted to point out is that our numbers, as I mentioned, it says August here, that's actually July of 2021. Our numbers are down a little bit from last July. So last July, we did 167 million at 316 units. And this year we did 136 million at 271 units. So it shows us the market is moving towards more of a buyer's market. I won't yet call it a buyer's market. I don't think it's quite to a buyer's market, but the market has definitely shifted and slowed down. We've said this at the last 3 sales meetings, that everybody's going to have to, every real estate agent, every brokerage is going to have to work harder to do the same amount of business as last year. So if we go down to the numbers right at the bottom, you'll see that year over year, our numbers are still more than what we were for this time last year. So year to date, we've done 1,885 units at 892 million. Compared to this time last year, we had done 1,772 transactions at 785 million. Do want to point out that it was this time last year that we added all of our great real estate agents in Florida. So we've had some acquisitions in the last 12 months and we'll continue to grow. All of us are going to have to continue to grow as a brokerage, and we're all going to have to work a little bit harder to do as much business as last year. But as a reminder, this is the normal market. Last year was not a normal market. Just as a reminder, only because every once in a while I hear agents getting a little bit down about the new way business is. I want to just go through a quick reminder again of why this changing market is actually better for us. So first of all, when talking to our clients, our buyers, all of us have experienced buyers that are deciding to put things on hold. They're putting things on hold because they're hearing news that the interest rates are higher, which means their payments are higher. But what we have to remind those buyers is that if they had purchased a home during the super low interest rate climate, they probably would have had to pay significantly more for the property. So even though their payment is higher now, they're actually in a better position than they would be if they had purchased during that lower interest rate climate, because they would have had to overbid on the property. Many people had to pay over market value for real estate in the market that we experienced at the start of the year and last year. Also, as a reminder that most sellers are buyers. So many sellers are complaining that the market has changed, but so they might not get what they would have gotten, say, 8 months ago for their home. We've seen lots of real estate agents talking about that, hey, I put a house on the market and I'm doing an open house. And 8 months ago, if I did this open house, I would have 40 people through, and nobody's coming through the open house. So this means our sellers are going to get less for their home than they would have 8 months ago. But those same sellers, for the most part, are also moving out and buying something else. Most sellers are buyers. So even though they make a little bit less on the house now, when they go to purchase something, it all works out because they're going to be paying less than they would have 8 months ago. Great news, inspections are back. Your buyers can ask for a home inspection now. That was something that was becoming obsolete in the old market. Inspections are good for all of us. When there are no inspections, that leaves everybody, the brokerage, you as a real estate agent, the seller, it leaves everybody open to potential liability down the road. So it's actually good that our buyers can get inspections again. What's great about the new real estate market is clients are going to need us more than ever. So in the market that we experienced in 2020 and 2021, there were more for sale by owners. Sellers believed they could put their house on the market, not include a real estate agent, and still get all kinds of offers on the property. Now, sellers will definitely need an experienced real estate agent to help them market, negotiate, and sell the home. So our value goes up in a changing real estate market. In the new market, there's new opportunities for real estate agents. We have open houses back. Remember, in the old days, we would do open houses so that potentially we could get new clients, new buyers to come through. Well, in the last 2 years, our open houses became crowd control. And basically, we were there just to control the number of people coming through. But now we can do open houses for new business. There will be expired listings because of the creeping up inventory, and for sale by owners. Lots of opportunities for us. What's great about the new market is, even though interest rates are higher, just something to keep in mind is during that very low interest rate climate where rates were like 2%, what happened is that home buyers 3-4 years ago, they depended on the mortgage interest deduction so that they could itemize their deductions on their tax returns. Well, what happens when interest rates are 2%, the interest is so low that it makes it so that they don't meet the requirement to itemize deductions. So they just go with a standard deduction. So yes, the interest rates are higher, the payments are higher. I think we figured that on a $500,000 house, potentially a payment is as much as $700 more than it would have been in January. However, potentially they'll save some money on income taxes, which needs to get factored in. The great thing about a changing market is we will start to see real estate agent attrition. That means that us, the good real estate agents, we're going to have to work harder to do well in business, but we're going to start seeing that there's more availability. The pie gets bigger as real estate agents begin to exit the business. yes, the real estate market was very easy for some in the last 2 years. And for agents that didn't come in to the business to build a business, they're going to struggle in the new market. So we're going to start seeing agent attrition, which leaves a bigger piece of the pie for the agents that take this business seriously. We're also going to see faster closings. Remember when we couldn't close a transaction in 30 or 45 days? The reason we couldn't close transactions in 30 or 45 days is because the banks, the mortgage companies, were drowning in refinance business. There's no refinance business. So the mortgage companies, the title companies, they want your business. By the way, on that note, when it comes to, for example, the mortgage companies, the title companies, don't forget to keep in mind the people that took care of you during the really crazy markets, because now everybody's coming out of the woodwork. Everybody wants your business. All of a sudden, the mortgage people have more time, so they're out trying to get business from real estate agents. Always remember the ones that took good care of you when that refinance boom was happening. And then last, I just want to point out that one of the opportunities in this new and changing market is that real estate is still deemed a safe investment as compared to the more volatile markets, such as the stock market. I always like to say real estate is the original blue chip investment, that it's always going to retain value. Does it have some volatility? Of course, any type of investment does have some volatility, but real estate is a blue chip investment. So it's always a great investment for our buyers who need a place to live or who want to invest in real estate no matter what. So those are some reminders as you are working with buyers and sellers to navigate this new normal market. Let's talk about some office updates. First, I just wanted to remind everybody, because some of you have reached out to Happy Agent. I was quoted in an article in Boston Globe about the changes in the real estate market. If you're looking for that article, you can go to LAERagentservices.com under the marketing section. We've put a link in there. We'll only keep it live for another 30 days or so because eventually the article will become stale, but it's still great if you are going on listing presentations. We are now in a place where when you go on a listing presentation, you can't just price a property at any price because the inventory will sit there for a while. So if you need some great content to explain to sellers what is happening in the new market, this article you will find helpful. Another big update, we're going to start today. This came out of our committee meeting. So as you know, we have committees that meet once a month, and they help set the tone and the direction of the brokerage. One of the things that the committees asked for was an internal company newsletter that goes out monthly. So the first version is going to go out today. It's called the LAER Den, and it's just internal. We're going to start it with 2 pages, but we had a really difficult time keeping it down to 2 pages. I have a feeling we're going to move to like a 4-page newsletter very quickly because we want to have sections in there for each of the committees so that they can give us an update about what they're working on and things that they want our agents to know. So the way this will get to you, we're going to email it out. You can find this, by the way, at laerrealty.com/news. So laerrealty.com/news. You can get a copy of it. What you'll also find at that link is if you want to contribute news each month, say there's an announcement or something you want to tell us, a birth announcement or a new accomplishment, a marriage, an engagement, and can be anything. If you have an announcement that you want included in our monthly newsletter, go to laerrealty.com/news. But we'll start getting this out to you the first week of every month, just letting you know some of the stuff that's happening in the company. I'll give you updates on some of the tools. Each month we'll have a little section highlighting One of our tools will let you know when LAER is in the news, things like that. You'll see a birthday scheduled this month. This was interesting to me. We had like almost 70 birthdays for the month of August, which is crazy to me. So that will start going out today. As a reminder, I mentioned this at last month's meeting, but I wanted to mention it once again. We have a new daily hot sheet that goes out. So up until about 1 month ago, the hot sheet that you guys received was something that was generated through our bookkeeping system, and it was not super accurate. First of all, it's hard to make these reports very accurate because of the limited reporting of some of the MLSs that we're in. Some of the MLSs don't allow us to pull reports about buy-side under agreements, for example. So we now have changed up the report a little bit because some of you guys, and this came through our committee meeting, said we just want like a one-liner of what came on the market in the last 7 days. And then I want to be able to click on it and get a full listing sheet. So that's what we've provided. Our Florida team gets one report. Our New England team gets a second report. So it's just the listings in your market area. You can click on each listing. It'll bring you to a full listing page. We include 7 days worth of new listings, under agreements, sold, and price reductions. In some markets, such as Florida and New Hampshire, you're not going to see a lot of under agreement transactions, only because the MLSs for those regions don't allow us to pull that information. However, what you will see on the email is a link where you can click on the link and give us information. So if you put a property under agreement, or if you have a coming soon listing, or let's say that your new listing for whatever reason didn't show up on the report, there's a little form on there. You can just press the click here to add it. And then there's a quick little form where we ask you a couple questions about the new listing or the price change, anything. And then that goes to our marketing team, who will make the update so that the next day it will show up on the hot list. So that is our new daily hot sheet. And again, we have one for Florida, one for New England. As always, you can download all of the LAER tools at laerrealty.com/success tools. And you can also see all of the tools in a nice organized spot at laeragentservices.com. So if there's anything you need, go to laeragentservices.com, because we've laid it out in a nice, easy to find format. This page is for real estate agents. It's for you guys in order to decipher where to find the tools. Okay, couple of things that we've added to LAER Agent Services in the last 30 days or so. I mentioned this one last month, but I'm going to mention it again. As the market changes, we're going to have to change the way we do business a little bit. Number one, I believe we're going to start seeing more of our agents who need assistance with open house coverage. So if you are an agent who carries a lot of inventory and you need somebody to do an open house for you, a real estate agent, you go to laeragentservices.com and you click on Need Open House Coverage. As well, if you're doing a broker open house and you want to notify the LAER agents in your marketplace that you're doing a broker open house, you go to laeragentservices.com, you click on Broker Open House Notification. The open house coverage request form, it spells out what we believe it's fair. So it just basically says that if you're asking team members to do open houses, that we believe that, and probably that agent believes that they're getting the leads of anybody that comes through. So if it's something different, you have to spell that out for whoever is covering your open house. And when you fill out the form, it'll ask you which offices you want to notify about the open house. So you can go into your market area and maybe you're going to notify 1 or 2 LAER offices. That'll send an email to all of the agents within those offices. So you pick 1 or 2 offices you want to notify, a blast email will go out saying we have an agent who's looking for open house coverage. Same with the internal broker open house notification. You're doing a broker open house, you can let everybody in your office and the local LAER offices know about your internal broker open. This once again sends a mass email to the agents in the offices that you select on the form. We also added a couple new marketing pieces I mentioned last month. One is a vendor list. I'm going to talk about this in another second. Same with a local community guide for you guys to fill out. As the market begins shifting, we're going to have to get really good at tapping into our spheres of influence for business. So one of the ways you can kind of build your spheres of influence is, number one, this local guide. So this is a customizable guide. You can find it under the marketing section at LAERagentservices.com. As well, we have our trusted vendor program. Again, that's a marketing piece that you can find under LAERagentservices.com. And this is about you going into your network and finding vendors that are related to the real estate world and reaching out to them and asking to start a 2-way referral business, saying, hey, I know you do house cleaning. I want to feature you as my preferred house cleaner. And by the way, do you know anybody who's looking to buy or sell real estate? And could I be your trusted vendor for real estate? If anybody is interested in real estate needs, would you give them my name? So this is how you can begin really honing in and building your sphere of influence. The locals guide is very similar. It's like making this little 2-page guide that you include in listing presentations, buyer presentations. You can leave them at local restaurants, but you basically, and you can change these. This is customizable in Canva, like just information about the local communities. But this is an awesome way to build a network and get out and talk to the local business owners in your marketplace to build your sphere of influence. Next, this too is because the market is shifting, changes in the market. We added this. This is also added to the LAERagentservices.com. This form is under the productivity tools section, and it's a weekly seller report. Now, in the old days, in the old market, we used to do these all the time. You'd update your seller once a week as to what is happening on their listing. We got away from this in the last 2 years because you'd put a house on the market and it was gone in 24 hours, already under agreement. But now we're going to have to get back to really over communicating with our sellers because they're uneasy. Sellers feel uneasy in this new market. So we have to get good at communicating with them. This is in Canva, and it's a simple little report that you can create once a week and send it over to your client so they know like how many hits on the website, how many on AdWorks. Zillow and Realtor.com, if you go to the public page of the listing, you can see how many people have clicked on it, clicked on the listing, how many people have saved the listing. So it's all public information. You're just compiling it into a report. As far as you'll know your listing stats, you'll also know the area market stats. There's a bunch of places you can get that information, such as the LAER Realty website. You can go to the market report section and get these market stats as well. You can always get market stats by requesting them from our marketing team. If you go to LAERagentservices.com, under marketing, there's a place where you can make a request for market statistics for a particular area. So all of that will help you get the work done, but this is something, just a new tool that you can customize so that you have a monthly reporting mechanism, weekly reporting mechanism for your sellers. This also is a new marketing piece that came through. One of our agents requested it and we thought it was kind of cool. to also include this for any agent that wants to use it, but like a nice marketing piece for the final walkthrough. So this is just something, again, that can be customized, and it's in Canva. You can find it under LAERagentservices.com, and I believe it's under the productivity section. But you go in and find this, and it's like a little walkthrough checklist. You can customize it, by the way. You don't have to use the one we created, but then add your name, your contact info, your photo down at the bottom, and now you have a nice little piece that you can bring with you on your final walkthrough. You guys already know about this, our open letter to home sellers that we advertised quite a bit throughout the beginning of the year. LAER sustainability report came out in April. As a reminder, I think the LAER sustainability report is an awesome tool, so that just to include in your listing and buyer presentations, in case your buyer or seller has an interest in sustainability. I know we have an interest in sustainability, which is why we compile this report, thanks to our Chief Sustainability Officer, Craig Foley, every year. But we're also taking on some additional initiatives through our sustainability team. In case you didn't open the Realtor magazine yet this month, our sustainability team is featured in this month's Realtor magazine. So you can find that. Everybody as a realtor gets a copy of the magazine, but we're also including on the LAER Agent Services under the marketing section a link to the article in case you want to include the article in like a buyer package or a seller package. We also, this came through our committee meetings as well. We have added a new section to our LAER website for green agents. So if you go to laerrealty.com/green agents, this is where we've compiled a page for consumers who are only interested in hiring somebody who has a green designation. So on this page, we feature just real estate agents at LAER who have their green designation. It's laerrealty.com/green agents. If you're a green designated agent and you're not on that page, just shoot us an email at happyagent@laerrealty.com. We've hired a team to help us build some Facebook and social media advertising. And one of the verticals we are targeting within the social media marketing is consumers who are interested in sustainability. So you'll want to be on this page, laerrealty.com/green agents. You can find this link. I already mentioned it a couple minutes ago. You can find this link as well at laeragentservices.com. If you want to ask for a market update, this is what it looks like. We make a little JPEG for whatever market you need. I do like to point out, sometimes we get agents that like on August 1st send in an email to Happy Agent. They want a market update for the month of July. Most of the reporting companies don't have accurate numbers until about the 7th of the month, because all the different MLSs, there are agents closing stuff out for the previous month, usually for about 7 days into the month. So really it's not until say like August 7th or August 8th that you'll get clear numbers for a July report. As a reminder, our ROAR report, which goes out once a month, is now available in Canva. So when you get the link, we still offer the Word version, the Microsoft Word version of the report, but now we also offer it in Canva to make it even easier for you to customize and edit. I mentioned this last month, but we have a team that we'll have on next month's call that has built a really awesome product called Mind My Social. And basically it's a social media marketing company for real estate agents. This is for agents that hate posting their own social media. We give you everything you need as a brokerage for monthly social media posts. You should never have to come up with a brand new social media post on your own. But if you don't like doing that or you won't do it, we recommend that you hire somebody to do it. And that's what mindmysocial.com, but we'll have the team on next month to talk about that. So a couple of things I want to talk about before we close out today's program is how do we end the year on a high note? Because right now it doesn't feel like a high note for many of you guys. I've talked to every single day. I talk to agents who are really not loving the new market because sellers are getting antsy. Sellers are upset that their houses are not selling, that they're not getting multiple offers. We have sellers that are expecting offers with no contingencies, and that's just not happening anymore. So as real estate agents, what are some of the things that we can control? What are the things that we can do to end this year on a high note? So there's 4 things we're going to talk about this month on how to end the year on a high note. Number 1, we got to reconnect with our spheres of influence. 2, we got to reinforce systems. 3, add a new niche. And 4, know and articulate your value. So these are the 4 things I would recommend every real estate agent be working on starting now so that you can end the year on a high note. By working on these 4 items, not only will you end the year on a high note because you'll pick up business just by doing these 4 things, but you'll also prime yourself for an amazing 2023. So it's kind of a combination of making sure you have good closings for the year end, but also getting ready for a great new year as well. So let's go through these 4 things: reconnecting with your sphere, reinforcing your systems, adding a new niche, and then know and articulating your value. So let's talk about reconnecting with your sphere of influence. First of all, you got to figure out who are the raving fans for your business. These are the people that know, like, and trust you and refer you like crazy. These are the ones, you got to harness this group. You want to put together a list of all of your past customers. You want to put together a list of your preferred real estate vendors and your preferred homeownership vendors. You want to start tapping into the other local community businesses. In a changing market like we're experiencing, it's not just our business that experiences it. The economy is beginning to change for everyone. So local community businesses, they have feelings now too that, hey, I'm a little bit worried that things are different than they were last year. And then also reconnect with your favorite co-brokes, because I can't stress enough, the last time the market had a shift like this, a lot of real estate agents got out of the business, and you want to be the person that your co-brokes, if they decide to get out of the business, they call you and refer you. So when you're thinking about reconnecting with your sphere, I think it's a good idea to make 2 lists. What do average real estate agents do with their sphere of influence? And what do great agents do with their sphere of influence? Develop a communication plan. So great agents have a communication plan on how they are going to communicate with their sphere for the next 12 months. So I said at the beginning of today's program to write down a few things that you're going to walk away with and execute on after today's meeting. One of them, if you don't already have it, is to build your communication plan. How are you going to communicate with your sphere of influence for the next 12 months? Number 1, everybody should be receiving a monthly email newsletter. You have no excuse as to why every person in your sphere of influence is not receiving a monthly email newsletter. We've done multiple classes on how to build out your ISAC CRM system. It takes about an hour's investment of your time. And then it's just adding people to your database all the time. Once that's set up, it's just happening every month, your email newsletter. I also think that it's a good idea to do print, something that people can look at and touch. A quarterly print newsletter, that's your ROAR report. So again, there's no excuse because we've already created it for you. It's not going to take you a week to put together a newsletter. We've already created it. It'll take you 10 minutes to add your contact information and your photo. I would also set up a quarterly texting campaign that you're staying in touch by text every quarter. And then I would also schedule out pop buys or reverse pop buys, where either you're getting out to visit your sphere or they are visiting you. So create your communication plan for the next 12 months. Next, create some events. So who do you invite to events? Your raving fans. So maybe having a little mastermind group or like a little dinner for the people who refer you all the time. A client appreciation event. Client appreciation events, any of you guys that have attended some of the Michael Mayer classes, either the ones we've done online or the in-person ones, Michael Mayer, 7 Levels of Communication, you know, a client appreciation event will cost you nothing if you organize it correctly with sponsors, etc. It costs you nothing other than an investment in your time in organizing it. Vendor appreciation events, reverse pop buys, housewarming, like these are all opportunities to kind of get your network, your raving fans, the people who know, like, and trust you, excited about sending you business. Here's some ideas on events you could do. For example, family portrait days, get your photographer to donate a day to you and put together family portrait day for your best client, a beach day, an apple picking day, a movie night, a classic car night. Again, these don't have to be expensive because you're going to bring in sponsors for your event. Reverse pop buys, some of the little things you can do just to get out and have a reason to visit your sphere. A nice, inexpensive little pop by gift is always seeds, because you can use them any time of year, different climates, things like that. A plant, a pumpkin, a beach bag, fireworks glasses, a trick or treat candy gift, pies. Put together a list of who you're going to visit in the next 12 months using your reverse pop buys. And figure out ways to make your people, your customers, feel special. Maybe you host like a monthly birthday luncheon for your customers who are having birthdays. What are you doing for closing gifts? The business directory and the community spotlights. That's why I want to go back to these 2 items. You can find these items inside LAERagentservices.com. But this local guide is a customizable guide so that you have a reason to go out and visit your local farmer's market, your local boutique, your local coffee shop, and have a conversation with the people there, to include them in your guide and let them know that you'd like to leave copies of the guide at their boutique or at their pizza shop or at their coffee shop, and that you're available to anytime to answer questions and that you want to help them grow their business. Same with the trusted vendor program. So these are vendors around real estate, plumbers, electrician, handyman. So build your trusted vendor list, but don't just add people. Every time you add somebody, you should be having a conversation, because those same people that you're adding to your community guide or to your trusted vendor guide, they need to also be part of your marketing, your sphere of influence. They should be getting your newsletters, etc. Second, so I said number 1 is like build your sphere of influence. This is what you need to be working on through the remaining 5 months of the year. Number 2, add a niche, something you're not doing already. So find a niche. Maybe your niche is that you're going to get your green designation. Maybe it's going to be luxury, short sales, foreign language, estate sales, divorce, condo developments, 1031 exchanges. Maybe you're going to focus on renters, first-time buyers. Maybe you're going to focus on veterans. Find a new niche so that not only are you working on your sphere that already knows, likes, and trusts you, but simultaneously you're adding another source of business that you're going to begin cultivating. Now, this might not come about that you're going to get business tomorrow because you decide you're going to focus on a specific condo development that you're going to market to. But if you start now, then at the beginning of next year, you'll already start seeing the fruits of your labor from that. Next, I talked about systems. So we have to make sure that we reinforce our systems in order to have an awesome year end. Anytime you can find a set it and forget it system for your business, it's important to incorporate it. It's the only way to scale your real estate business is to have set it and forget it systems. That's why I love the ISAC system for your CRM, because yes, it takes an hour to set it up so that it looks nice and it works for you. But then every month your people are automatically getting an email newsletter from you. So you're staying in touch. Packages, listing and buyer packages. I talked about this at last month's meeting. You should have a killer listing package and a killer buyer package, maybe a killer investor package. They should all be done. You should have 20 of each of them. That should take you about an hour because we've already created all of the stuff that goes in those packages. If you want to go through a rundown of what should be in your packages, go to laerrealty.com. No, I'm sorry, youtube.com/LAER training and watch last month's meeting, because in that meeting, I talked about how do you show up in your social media, in your listing packages, in your buyer packages. And I go through everything last month's meeting on how to make your packages really stand out. Same with your presentations. Do you have a killer buyer presentation or a killer seller presentation? What got you through the market in the last 2 years is not going to get you through the market in the next 12 months. So maybe you did fine in the last 2 years and you got business with no listing presentation, no buyer package, no seller package, nothing. It's not going to get you to the same result in the next 12 months. Same with checklists, building incredible checklists. These are some of my favorite set it and forget it systems. ISAC, I've mentioned, MLS mailings, the personal marketing company. I think it's for $25. The personal marketing company stays in touch with your customer for 5 years with your branded content. That's a no-brainer to me. Set it and forget it systems. Learn how to use Canva. It's so important to your business to look good because this is your brand. Go in and learn how to use Canva, learn how to schedule out your social media posts, set up these set it and forget it systems. Packages and presentations should look good. Your buyer package, your buyer presentation, seller package, seller presentation, investor package, investor presentation, open houses, download the checklist. We have all the checklists done for you. You can go to laeragentservices.com under the productivity section, and we've already built out all these checklists. So you just have to go and make them your own and use them in your business. And then last piece of the 4 things you have to do for a successful year end is really know your value proposition. What makes you different than the other 3 million real estate agents? Because the perception to the consumer is that an apple is an apple is an apple. A real estate agent is a real estate agent is a real estate agent. So what makes you different? By the way, it is impossible to articulate your unique value proposition unless you really understand the competitors in your market and what they're selling and what makes you different. So we recommend doing a SWOT analysis. What are your strengths, weaknesses, your opportunities and your threats? And then understanding what is value. So the value is anything that is perceived valuable by the customer or client. In order for our client to perceive a value, we have to articulate it. So their perception The customer's perception is a byproduct of our ability to articulate. So if you just show up expecting to get the listing signed and you don't know how to articulate value, then there will be clients that think you have no value, that you're just another of the 5 million real estate, 3 million real estate agents. What are some of your value propositions? Maybe you have a killer marketing plan. Maybe it's your big network, the 800 real estate agents that work at your company. Maybe it's your experience. Maybe it's that you're full-time and not part-time. Maybe it's that you have a huge pool of buyers waiting for a house. Maybe it's your realtor membership. That's a value proposition. Maybe it's commission rate, but be really careful with that. Some people think that is their value proposition. Be super careful with that, because then whatever your value proposition is, people are going to compare it. Your buyers or sellers will compare it line item to line item with other people. So be careful on the commission rate one, because then if that's your value proposition, that's too easy to beat. Somebody will come in and just cut it a little bit lower, and now their value is higher than yours. Selling houses versus not recruiting. This is a big value proposition. We have all these companies out here. How many of the brokerages that we do business with, they should be selling real estate? And instead of selling real estate, they're trying to sell you on why you should come to their brokerage so that they can make money on a downline from you. They're pyramid scheme real estate brokerages. One of your value propositions, you're not one of them. You are selling real estate. That you're on a team. Maybe your value proposition is that you're not on a team. Maybe the value proposition is who gets the sign calls, the leads on their listings. Maybe your value proposition is open houses. If you would like a nice, simple inventory of the value that you bring to the table, a great way to start is to go refer to the laerrealty.com/success tools to get our program guide, because each page is a tool or resource you have for your business, and each one contributes to your value. So your company resources, your technology, the people you do business with, like other real estate agents, vendors. So, and then it's really important to understand that some of the things that you might not think are valuable are actually super valuable to your buyer or seller. So that's why I always say, talk about our sustainability team. Even if you're not into sustainability, you don't know if the buyer or seller is. So why wouldn't you include that, our sustainability team, as part of your value proposition? You might not even think about it, but maybe you do charitable donations on every closing. And if you're not talking about it, that could be something that's highly important to your client. So the 3 things that could break a tie between a consumer who sees 2 real estate agents and considers them equal. The 3 things that could break the tie is the fact that you're talking about sustainability, or that you're talking about your charitable endeavors. It doesn't have to be just donations. It could be just charitable endeavors where you give your time to. And then the rapport that you build with the customer. So here's how to win the listing. Find out who the competition is, have a killer listing presentation comparing your value to that of the competition when possible. Create an incredible listing package, CMA, brochure, seller guide, marketing plan, sample brochures. Show up on time and look professional. Listen to the client. Be impeccable with your word. Don't say it unless you plan on following through, and then follow up with the customer. So those are the 4 recommendations we have for ending your year on a high note. Reconnect with your sphere, reinforce your systems, add a new niche, articulate your value. And with that, I want to invite Nicole Choate DeRosa from our Coast to Coast Closings Partnership on for a few minutes. Nicole runs the title and closing team at Coast to Close for our New England offices, and she has some exciting updates for us. So welcome, Nicole.
Thank you. Yes, we have very exciting updates. We have a new attorney. She is going to be in our West Yarmouth, Massachusetts office, which is located at 411 Route 128. No, 411 Route 28. Her name is Cheryl Dukeman, and she's been an attorney for 33 years. She knows general law. Her specialty is real estate and estate planning. So we're super excited about that. She focuses on each individual client and their specific needs. She also will travel. She loves to travel. So she'll go to the LAER offices like we do here, the registries, if they're allowing her in. And then our other exciting, and her email would be the same as mine, Cheryl. It's CHERYL@ctcclosings.com. I'm sure we can get that up or send it off to everybody if you have a Cape closing or any estate questions or any clients. We feel that, Stacy and I were talking, we feel that after you close a loan, your biggest next step would be to do some estate planning. And then in other exciting news, we now in the Tingsboro office have a full-time in-house paralegal. Her name is Erica Tildesley. She has actually held her real estate license since 2002. So she still holds it, and she worked mainly with new construction builds with the contractors and the team there. And she has been a paralegal since 2010. She's worked for small and large real estate offices, title companies, very knowledgeable, very pleasant. And she is so excited to get your deals done from beginning to end. And again, she is the same email. So she's Erica, ERICA @coasttocoastclosings.com or ctcclosings.com. So if there's anything we can do or help you with or answer any questions, let us know.
All right, awesome stuff. By the way, if you guys are looking for some great marketing pieces, Coast to Coast Closings has been building out a pretty cool website for real estate agents. So if you go to ctcclosings.com under the agent, real estate agent, or if you're a loan officer under the mortgage section, there's two different sections for free marketing tools for agents and for loan officers. So just some wrap up thoughts. First, we want to let you know that our events team has been very busy organizing grand opening celebrations. So just put your real estate business on hold for the month of September, because we basically have a party every week. Starting at the beginning of September in Melrose, we're going to be doing our grand opening. Melrose has been around for a while, so we're doing some grand openings of offices that have been around for a while, but we've never got to the grand opening, mostly because of COVID. So we're doing Melrose, Plymouth. We just recently moved to a new location in Plymouth, and then our Hampton Falls, New Hampshire office. So save the date on all of these. You can also go to laer.link/Melrose or laer.link/Plymouth or laer.link/Hampton Falls to register for any of these upcoming grand openings. Don't forget to visit laerrealty.com/training for our weekly training schedule. Lots of great classes coming up. And you can always watch replays. So if you've missed any recent classes, we've had some really good ones, such as The Art of War in a Changing Market, the boot camp every month. If you ever miss anything, you can always go to LAER University or youtube.com/LAER training to watch the reruns. As a reminder, you can visit any LAER office at laerrealty.com/office access. And all the good things that we introduced today are a byproduct of the committees that meet regularly. So if you're interested in joining a committee, which gives you a voice into anything that we're adding to the company, go to laerrealty.com/committees. And as always, if you need any assistance at all, our team is available anytime you need support. Just go to happyagent@laerrealty.com, email us there, and our team will jump on it and help you in any way that we can. Thank you for attending. And our next meeting is going to bring us almost to fall, September 14th, 2022, second Wednesday of September. With that, I want to thank everybody for joining us for today's program. Have a great end of summer.